As an education consultant with more than 20 years of experience in the Australian education sector, one of the most frustrating things that my clients often say to me is, Rob, how can I afford to study in Australia? The cost is so much. What can I do in order to be able to come and study in Australia because I want to build a better life for myself and my family? What can I do? If you're a person that falls into this category, well, today I'm here to help you. In today's video, I'm going to provide you with 5 practical tips in what you need to consider in order to be able to afford to study in Australia. These tips will not only guide you in what you need to consider, but also it will help you to decide if it's really worth it and allow you to save time and effort for the future. And if you do decide that it's worth it, then the information that I'll provide in this video today will also help you with your future student visa application form. And as a bonus of watching this video to the end today, I'm going to provide you a out-of-the-box tip that will help you whether you decide to study in Australia or not, to help to build a better future for you and your family. So stay tuned. Hello, friend. Rob Dianovich here from Education Without Borders, bringing you more tips and guides on how to study, build a career or a business in Australia. If you're looking to afford to study in Australia, the first tip that I would recommend here is to either take out a personal loan or a loan from the bank. Now, in this situation, what you could do is you can either ask for a personal loan, say from your family or your friends. That would be the first option because you can negotiate a smaller percentage if you are looking to pay your family or friends back, as opposed to looking at taking a personal loan out of a bank where you might be charged a interest such as 3, 4, or 5%. Whichever way you go in this situation, it's always a good idea to put together some form of an agreement, whether it be with family or friends, as this will provide a guide to them in if you're going to pay them back or if it's a free loan or things like that, because these are one of the things that may come up as part of your visa application form in how is it that you're receiving money to fund your ability to study in Australia. And you'll need to explain this as well. You can use your agreement as an example of what type of terms and conditions you've come up with to show to the Department of Home Affairs that you have a plan in how to pay this money back, or even if you have to. So if you have an idea of how much you can borrow, the second tip here is to identify what is the cheapest course that you can undertake that meets your future career requirements. It is really important to pick a course that fits within your budget. Generally, degrees and postgraduate courses can be quite expensive, so you might consider in undertaking an English program or a vocational education and training program, as they tend to be cheaper compared to degrees and postgraduate courses. If you already have a higher qualification, you may also consider a postgraduate course that is in a shorter duration, as this will save you some money as well. If permanent residency is what you are looking for in the future, make sure that the course you select aligns with the skill shortages in Australia. If you're not sure in how to do that, what I'll do is in the description below, I will provide a link to the skills occupation list so that you can have a look at it in the future once you've finished watching this video. A third tip here is to save up the money yourself. So what this means is that you can either look at things such as maybe taking on extra shifts at work, or maybe looking at finding a new job that gives you a greater income, or looking for a part-time job where you can earn some extra money, which can go directly into your savings for your studies in Australia. Or another option here is maybe to sell some unwanted goods that can also help you to save some funds as well. So the key takeaway point here is make sure you undertake some research to identify what the cost of the courses are. So that way you can develop a budget and set yourself a goal in how much money it is that you need to save in order to be able to fund your own journey to Australia and study. So even after you've had a look at the first 3 tips and funds are still limited, another option or point 4 that you can consider is looking to study a program in your home country. So what this means is that you can undertake the program either online or through distance learning from an Australian institution where you can partially complete the course online and then look to transition or transfer to Australia in the future. What they refer to in this case is transnational education. So that means that maybe for the first year, you can maybe focus on completing a degree back home, which could be cheaper for you. It means that you don't have to worry about expenses and costs and travel and accommodation and those kind of things. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. And then maybe for the second year of your degree or for the third year, you can look to undertake that in Australia. Another option with that transnational education could be you may undertake a vocational course instead. So, for example, complete a Certificate 3 or 4 program and then look to apply for the same institution that you've completed your certificate program in order to complete the diploma or the advanced diploma. Now, what this does is this may show to the Department of Home Affairs that you are a genuine student and your focus is on upskilling from a previous qualification that you've undertaken. Now, the one thing I really need to stress here is even with transnational education, you may not be guaranteed an approved visa application. So please be mindful of that. And please note that there are risks in this as well. But on both accounts, both options give you an opportunity to transfer your studies to Australia in the future. So before we continue with the next few points, if you're finding value in this video today, please click on the like button down below, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that way you'll be notified when new videos arrive so that you don't miss out. So now let's go back to the video. So if money is still a challenge after the first 4 tips, your 5th option here is to try to undertake a scholarship or find a scholarship. Now, there are different types of scholarship that you need to consider. One is either trying to find a full scholarship. A second option is to find a partial scholarship. And then the third option is to identify somebody who can sponsor you for your scholarship. So let's say, for example, you might have a really strong relationship with your employer who may want you back at some point in the future or could potentially give you an opportunity to work in Australia. So they may be in a position to fund you for your studies. Or alternatively, another option is to maybe have a chat to your local community group who may be able to fund you at some form of community level where you may be able to undertake some volunteering-based work for them, maybe in Australia or maybe back home in your home country as well. To help you to identify scholarship opportunities, I'll provide a link for you in the description below. So that way, after the video, you'll have this resource available to you. So a question I'd like to ask you today, of the 5 tips so far, what have you found the most useful or what tip do you think we should have added in? Please comment below. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, I wanted to provide you a bonus tip towards the end. So my bonus tip here is, have you considered starting a side business that you could develop and grow in Australia? Now, don't think I'm crazy here, my friend. There are many opportunities for this. So if we're looking at options where you can't afford to study in Australia, and let's say you haven't had the opportunity to identify a scholarship that suits you, maybe a business in Australia might be the best way for you because it provides a number of advantages. One being that if you're from a country where the Australian dollar is a stronger currency, this might benefit you. The other option here is if you are successful with your student visa, it means that you have an income stream for when you do come to Australia. And the third benefit is that when you are in Australia, you have the opportunity to grow this business into something more. So think about it from that point of view. As I mentioned at the start of the video, it's an outside of a box idea, but it is something worthwhile considering. If you're looking for help to study, build a career, or build a business in Australia, my details are down below. And before you start working on your student visa application form, in the next video, I'm going to provide you 7 important points that you need to consider before you apply in studying in Australia.